Don't we all dream of visiting all the Disney parks one day? On our family's bucket list is a trip to California, to the park that started it all. This week on the show, we go Geekin on Disneyland.
Are you ready for a fun-filled hour of food favorites, resort hopping, and hanging out with Disney World geeks? It's now time to go Geekin on Walt Disney World. Here's our dad and co-host. Hollywood was impressed with his performance in crowd scenes at the Indiana Jones stunt show. He never misses an 11 a.m. margarita at the Mexican Pavilion. And Mike Wazowski is still raving about his performance as that guy over at Monsters, Inc. Laugh Floor. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Curtis Stone.
Welcome home, geeks. It's time for episode 155 of the Geekin on Walt Disney World podcast. I am your co-host, Curtis Stone, and we are the family-friendly father-daughter podcast that will feed your passion for Walt Disney World by sharing our experiences and opinions as well as others from our community of passionate Walt Disney World geeks. And today's episode is sponsored by our good friends with Fairy Tale Concierge Travel Agency. Fairy Tale Concierge is an authorized Disney vacation planner agency. You know them as part of our Geekin family, and that's Susan Jones, Jennifer Galambos, and EJ Cruz. When you book your Disney World vacation with them, you're going to get a professional travel agent, and they have vast knowledge and experience with Disney World. They're going to handle all your bookings of resort and dining reservations. They'll help you with your itinerary, and they're going to help you with all those discounts that Disney is offering. They're going to give you individual attention to meet your specific needs. So contact them now for a free, no obligation quote. And best of all, their services are free to you. Let's keep our trip bookings in the family and get all the details on our website, geekinonwdw.com. On the show this week, Lindsay and I review all the details of Disneyland with touringplans.com and unofficialguides.com blogger and co-author of the Unofficial Guide to Disneyland. His name is Guy Selga Jr. But first, I want to do some community shout-outs. We are just having a blast on Facebook watching video and pictures from our geeks in the parks this week, including Melissa Ballavender, Chris Cates, and Laura Eaton. She's over at Disneyland Paris. I want to give a birthday shout out to Harrison Eaton, who is 4 years old, and he's having a great time in Disneyland Paris. I know that because his mom Laura has been posting tons of great, amazingly cute pictures of Harrison in the park enjoying his birthday. So happy birthday, Harrison Eaton. The latest version of our t-shirts came in, and we'll be shipping them out soon. You can see mine posted on the Facebook group. Big thanks to Auntie Judy and Lindsay for designing, taking the orders, and getting them made locally here. Lindsay and I worked on our January trip itinerary. I posted the plan so far on the Facebook group. The goal of this trip is to meet as many listeners as I can who will be there in Disney World while I'm down there, including Peter and Holly Burcase. We're going to be meeting them for lunch on the drive down. Holly will be with her mom for a couple of days in the parks, but we're looking forward to meet Bob Allen, Bev Johnson, Joanne Darris, Lori Oliveri, Becky Adams, Steve LaBuca, and maybe we'll get a chance to see Kate Sewell, who will be there, I think, that very first day. We might drive right into Magic Kingdom and say hi to Kate. Finally, I was so excited to be featured on episode 480 of my podcasting mentors show called The Cliff Ravenscraft Show. The episode is titled, He Decided to Just Get Started and See What Happened. Now, Cliff is well known in podcasting as the podcast answer man, and his podcast has been my number one podcast and where I learned how to podcast. and I continue to get ideas and inspiration to produce our show. He recently asked his audience to come out of the shadows if we had never been engaged with him before. So I wrote him an email detailing what his show has meant to me and the successes of our show. I emailed him this past Wednesday, and his show usually comes out on a Friday. I listen every week, and I had seen the title of the show, but I was really busy at work, and I had not yet listened to the show when I noticed a response to my email from Cliff that I was featured in the show. Cliff did feature another person, and I had only seen their name in the show description. Well, to say the least, I got really excited. So go give it a listen. You know, our show is all about our community, and I encourage you too to engage with us through the Facebook group, or you too can send me an email at kurt.stone@geekinonwdw.com to tell us you're a listener in the shadows and what our show means to you. I know for sure there are some of you out there who've not yet engaged with us. Okay, this week, Lindsay and I sat down with Guy Selga Jr., and he's a co-author of the Unofficial Guide to Disneyland and a blogger with touringplans.com. We reached out to our Geekin family again for interesting questions, and I think we really covered a lot in this 1 hour plus interview. If you have a dream to visit Disneyland, I believe you'll find this episode informative and fun to listen to. Let's go geekin' on Disneyland. Well, tonight, Lindsay, we have another co-author of our favorite book series, The Unofficial Guides. Aren't you excited?
Oh, yeah. Just adding up our reputation. I was talking to these really awesome people.
And our friends at the touringplans.com, they actually enjoyed our previous shows with Bob Sellinger and Len Testa.
Phew, right?
Yeah, I know. Exactly. You get a little nervous. But she was excited, and she offered actually 3 more of these shows. And one will be Beyond Disney, and another one would be the Disney Cruise Line. And she's so cool to send us the books, which is
very interesting books. Even if you've never been before, it's great to learn and figure out what's going on.
And one that we've been really excited because we want to go to Disneyland one day.
So bad.
And so tonight, Lindsay, we've got an author, an unofficial book author from Disneyland is going to be our guest tonight. You ready to bring him on?
Ready.
Well, he's lives in Long Beach, California. He's a native from Long Beach and a passionate Disney fan. He is a blogger and researcher at touringplans.com. So please give a warm Geekin' welcome to Guy Selga Jr. Hi, Guy.
Hey, thanks for having me.
How are you tonight?
I'm doing pretty good. I actually just got back from Disney World yesterday and kind of been getting caught up on all my work and all that kind of stuff today, and I'm ready to be on this podcast.
Oh, I didn't know you were going to Disney World and just getting back, so we're going to ask you a little bit about that. And how's everything in California tonight?
It's afternoon still there.
It's a chilly in terms of California weather day here in California. It's actually raining. It's like 60 degrees, so everybody's got their scarves and hoodies and Ugg boots on and carrying around giant coffees.
Well, I wanted to tell you, I was coming home from work today. I take the bus home from Hartford, Connecticut, and we were waiting for the bus. Everyone was freezing. I got in the car on the way home, and it was 13 degrees in the car, and that's without the chill.
Yeah, it wasn't windy today, which was nice.
It was windy enough.
But when I was out this afternoon, it was.
The wind chill was bad. So, Guy, it's we're really jealous of you guys in that warm weather right now. Here in Connecticut, we're in Connecticut. Yeah. But one thing that we wanted to do was we had some success with Len Testa's interview. I thought when we asked our community to give us some questions for Disneyland.
They're really geeky. If you haven't.
Cool.
Yeah, and because we're pretty knowledgeable in Walt Disney World, but we're absolute novices with Disneyland, and we're excited. We actually had wanted to go during my 25th wedding anniversary, but the expense taking 9 people out to California compared to Disney World was probably more than I could do. But and I've actually been out there, Guy, 30 years ago during my spring break, and not that college that I remember a lot from college. Yeah, I don't remember actually a lot from Disneyland, so I'm excited to learn about this because it is a dream of ours to eventually get out there. So you got to get us.
Hopefully you get out soon because a little bit's changed in 30 years.
Yeah, like they added another park, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Right? So we're excited to learn all we can from the best resource that we think out there, especially the Unofficial Guide. Well, Brian Wall is one of our listeners, and one of the questions he put on my Facebook group this morning was, isn't Guy the person whose job, you put that in capital letters, it is to be in Disneyland every day? So ask him if he has an understudy, because Brian will definitely move out to California anytime. So
yeah, I get a lot of questions about if we need interns or something. But yeah, I used to be in the parks a lot more when I first started this job, and I was kind of just recording wait times and crowd patterns for our stats guys at touringplans.com. But the last few years I've kind of transitioned into more writing, especially when it comes around to time to do the next edition of the Unofficial Guide to Disneyland, because that can take quite a bit of time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So you do this full time?
Yeah, it's my full-time job. Just out in the parks, writing, researching, keeping our tools up to date, because we have the crowd calendar that we rate every day of the year 1 to 10. Yep. And then we predict the wait times. And you wouldn't think a lot changes in the parks, but a lot of just little stuff that can affect people's everyday touring can change all the time. So we just make note of that, blog about it, keep it in our notes, and then update it in the guide when that comes around.
Just when I thought being a boat captain down at Disney World was the best job in the world, this one, your job seems to be even better, Guy. That's great. Lindsay, you got one of the questions for us?
Yeah, I'm wondering, what is your history with Disneyland? Like, how did you get started going to Disneyland and land a job that's basically in Disneyland quite often?
So I was raised by my grandma, who was a huge Disneyland freak, and my mom was as well. And so they would take me almost every week, pretty much since I was a little baby. And then from ages, I think about 3 to 11 years old, we had a family friend that was actually a monorail captain and was able to get us into the parks pretty much whenever we wanted. So we went almost every week. And then finally, when I was in elementary school in the later years, my grandma decided it was time to get us annual passes so we could truly go whenever we wanted and not have to rely on anybody else. So I got my first annual pass in 1994, the year before Indiana Jones Adventure opened. And ever since then, I've had one. So I'm not good at math, but that's 20-something years of having an annual pass.
Good record.
And I have a safe estimate that I've been to Disneyland at least 2,000 times.
Oh.
That's amazing.
Well, I guess we got the right guy to get the inside scoop, Lindsay. So how did you get connected with the Unofficial Guide, Bob and Len?
So I was actually, my previous life, I was working as a quality assurance tester in the video game industry, and I was coming up on about 7 or 8 years of doing that, and there was a lot of grind, a lot of overtime. It was kind of wearing me down, and I was looking for a career change. And in the meantime, as a side hobby, I had just kind of a little nerdy Disney blog where I would post like old theme park maps and napkins and just whatever else I could find that was super nerdy and obscure. I did that for a few years, and then one day at work, I actually saw that Touring Plans was opening up a position for their first California researcher.
Yep.
And at the time, they were saying like, yeah, it could lead to a full-time position. And so I talked to my wife, and I decided that if it went well with the interviews and everything, and they offered me the job, that I'd be willing to take a little bit of a pay cut and move to Touring Plans. Yeah. And kind of just do a career change. And it was pretty risky.
Yeah.
So I applied for that, and I used my blog that I had as kind of a writing sample.
Yeah.
And they liked me, and they hired me on. And then later on, the year that I got hired, they brought me on full time, and been doing that ever since.
How long ago was that?
That was in 2012. I actually started the week Cars Land opened.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
California Adventure. So yeah, I've been doing that, and then started writing for the. At first, I was helping out with the Unofficial Guide, just kind of doing fact checking and whatever. But then eventually, my role became bigger and became a actual like co-author on the front of the book, which was super crazy for me.
Congratulations!
But
yes.
that happened about 2 years ago, and yeah, it's crazy because we're in December, and so soon, like in a month, we're gonna start the early work on the 2018 version of the Unofficial Guide to Disneyland, which blows my mind because it feels like we just finished the 2017 version.
Well, yeah, it's not even 2017 yet.
Yeah.
So you were just saying you just got back from Walt Disney World. I was going to ask you if you've ever been. Have you been to Disney World several times?
Since about 2008, I try to get up to Disney World a couple times a year when I can find cheap flights. Like basically my threshold is like under, $200.
Yeah.
And then I'll
That's like
book
us.
a flight out there.
Yeah.
It's more expensive.
Well, you're going
yeah.
from California. Yeah. You got a longer.
Yeah, I'm a Disney World guy, but obviously I love Disney World, and I really love Tokyo Disneyland. I try to go out there once a year, and so I'm actually in like 25 days. I'm going to go out there for my 4th time, and really looking forward to that.
Awesome.
Very well traveled. Us here at Geekin on WDW are kind of Disney World snobs. It's the only park we've ever been to, Disney park that we've ever been to, except for my dad who's been to Disneyland once. But
Hardly counts, though.
Yeah, it doesn't really count. Do you think that us Disney World snobs would be disappointed with Disneyland because it's so small, or is it have something totally
Much
unique
smaller.
to offer?
Yeah.
I don't think Disney World people would be disappointed. In terms of rides, there's really I don't even think there's a dozen more rides at Disney World versus Disneyland. It's just kind of more spread out at Disney World over 4 theme parks.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
But there's a lot to do, and from what we hear from a lot of Disney World people who visit Disneyland for the first time is everyone comments on the coziness and just like kind of the historical feel of it, because you can go places literally where Walt Disney stood. And there's just a lot of weird little, like, Disneyland-only things that are kind of endearing if you're a Disney nerd. Like, there's a petrified tree in Frontierland that Walt gave to his wife Lillian as an anniversary present, and she didn't want it, and so they put it in the park. There's just, like, little weird stuff like that. And you can go to the Golden Horseshoe and see where Walt and Lillian celebrated their anniversary before the day before the park opened. And, just there's a lot of fun little cozy corners to explore, like New Orleans Square, and then there's the exclusive rides like Indiana Jones Adventure and what some would say a significantly better version of Pirates of the Caribbean.
The original.
I kind of want to stay with that theme a little bit, Guy, because Disneyland is the original, and it's really unique. Obviously, the first real theme park, and I love the history of Walt Disney. Can you really sense and feel the history of the park? Is it still there? I know you said it's grown obviously over the years, and can you really feel that presence of Walt Disney there?
Yeah, there's some attractions especially where you can, like, it's a small world. I think if you've only seen it at Disney World, you're not prepared for the scope and scale of it at Disneyland, because it's just a huge facade. Like it's almost like a diorama at Disney World, but then you go to Disneyland and you see the full scale thing. And then you see other stuff that Walt was directly involved with, like Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln, which was a 1964 World's Fair attraction that was then moved to Disneyland. And then the original Tiki Room, just to even walk through the castle and just know that kind of Walt has his fingerprints all over it, even though it was 60-some years ago, obviously.
Yeah, you do think so the things that he had his personal touch to, there's definitely a difference there.
Yeah, definitely. And then, like you can go to Town Square on Main Street and see the apartment he actually slept in when he would visit the park.
Yeah. That's the part I think I would get chills.
Yeah.
Going into that park, just the history of it all. Do they have some pretty good tours to talk about the history of the park?
Yeah, there's actually a really good one called Walk in Walt's Footsteps Tour. And they used to take you into the apartment on that, but they don't anymore because they had to change it for ADA regulations because there's no elevator up there. So now instead you get a tour of the Dream Suite, which isn't as exciting, but it's still pretty cool. But yeah, they take you through the history of Disneyland and how Walt started the process in the early days, from sitting at a carousel watching his daughters, go around on the merry-go-round, and then wanting a park of his own where him and his daughters could play. Yeah, going back to how there's weird little things that only Disneyland could have. There's Walt's private train car that goes around on the train track called the Lily Bell, and inside there's a picture of Walt and Lillian, and it's just super ornate Victorian style. Yeah. Just stuff like that is really amazing.
I love that. Yeah, I know. Watching biographies, Walt had Disneyland in his mind. They think really from really early on. I mean, from maybe like 30 years, this was in his mind. You know,
yeah, and
the concept
it's really
of it.
Interesting hearing about just the process, how they were originally going to build it across the street from the studios in Glendale, but then it evolved into a bigger park.
Right.
Yeah, I love stuff like that.
All right.
So, obviously, in Disney World, we look forward to these fantastic resorts, and there's so many of them to choose from. What options for resorts are there in Disneyland nearby?
So there's the 3 Disney-owned hotels on site: Grand Californian, Paradise Pier Hotel, and Disneyland Hotel. They're really expensive, but they're also very popular. So the demand is there to, warrant the price. If you stay at Disneyland Hotel, we're talking about the Touches of Walt. They really go heavy on the history there. Like your Do Not Disturb sign has a picture of Sleepy on it, but like a vintage costume Sleepy from like the 50s and 60s.
Oh yeah.
And then there's pictures of Walt Disney in the rooms. And then the headboards have like a wood carving of Sleeping Beauty Castle, and you can press a button and it lights up and it plays When You Wish Upon a Star. And then there's the Grand Californian, which I guess you would call it Disneyland's flagship hotel. It's kind of a mix between the Grand Floridian and Wilderness Lodge in Disney World. So it's got that like kind of rustic wooded theme, but it's also grand in scale. So you have those 3 hotels if you can afford them, but rack rates on those are usually they can be up to $400 a night, which is crazy.
Now one of those is a vacation club property, right?
Right. At the Grand Californian, they have a DVC wing with villas and studios and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So if you're trying to save some money, that's actually where Disneyland is kind of cool, because you can stay across the street from the park on Harbor Boulevard, and there's a ton of hotels, and some of them you can get for $90 a night. They're no frills, they're typical offsite hotels. It's cheap, and it's a place to sleep, and you're less than a 10-minute walk from your hotel room to the front gate of Disneyland.
But do they do the same thing like they do in Disney World, where you have perks if you're staying at the Disney resorts?
They do have early entry. There's no evening extra magic hours or any equivalent like that, but they do have early entry every other day. There's, Disneyland on one day, DCA on the other day.
Okay.
So you can get in, I think it's an hour early.
Because I know when we give advice for people going to Disney World, especially if you're going like, you don't go all the time, we really recommend people to stay at a Disney World resort for all the perks and get all of the flavor and the special
It really
treats.
adds to the experience.
Yeah, the experience of a Disney resort. What do you think at Disneyland? Would you recommend the Disney resort?
Even for that extra price?
If we're coming out, we're not coming back again real soon. Should we splurge on the Disney resort?
Yeah, I think it's worth doing at least once, because, the allure and the convenience of staying in the Disney bubble, so to speak, can't be denied. If you're a multiple time a year visitor, or maybe you're just trying to save some money, I don't think that there's really many downsides to staying offsite, because it's just so cheap.
Okay.
But the Disney hotels are really something, and the service is obviously amazing, just like in Disney World.
Awesome. All right, this next question, we're kind of bouncing a little bit around, but we want to get a lot of stuff in here. Heather Brainerd is a good friend of ours and listener, and she's saying she's a big Disney World fan. Obviously, she goes many times, but when they finally make their trip out to California, she's wondering, how many days do you need in Disneyland to fully enjoy both these parks? To try to get it all in,
Yeah. I would say if you don't want to feel rushed and if you want to do everything, you should give Disneyland Park at least 2 days, because there is so much to do there.
Sure.
I don't have the exact number of attractions, but I think it's over 70 in just Disneyland.
Oh wow! Yeah.
They really stuff them in there, and then there's the shows and the parades and all that.
Yeah, right. Don't want to miss that.
So I would give Disneyland at least 2 days, and then DCA one full day.
Okay. for 3 or 4 days, you could cover quite a bit there.
And not run yourself ragged.
Yeah, you could get a lot done. Especially, it's funny, the thing that's different from Disneyland and World, Californians really like to sleep in. There's no rush to get to the parks early in the day.
For the locals?
So even on what you would expect to be a busy day, you could go early in the morning and for the first couple hours pretty much have the park to yourself and get a lot done.
I like that because we're
a big
early.
Difference, yeah.
We're early risers for
we're
sure.
part of the running of the bulls in Magic Kingdom. That's the kind of people we are in Disney World.
Do they get the crowds that they get in Disney World, Guy?
Oh yeah, especially in Disneyland, it just can get insanely packed. This was actually a really, really busy summer. So
yeah, and how about this time of year,
busy.
Christmas time right now? Is it getting pretty crowded now?
Yeah, I'm pretty much starting on Monday. I guess starting on Saturday of this week. It's the 15th as we're recording this. So yeah, we're right on the cusp of like pretty much the insanely busy Christmas season where every single annual pass is blocked out except for like the $1,000 pass. It's going to be insane. And the Disneyland, its footprint is smaller, so the walkways are smaller as well. So even if you go on a day where the wait times aren't nearly as high, you'll still feel a little bit more crowded, especially in places like Adventureland and the entrance to Tomorrowland, basically all the bottlenecks.
Yeah.
Because there's just so many people in the walkways trying to get around.
Probably not as far to walk as some of the places in Disney World.
Right.
Now, I'm going to extend this a little bit. Let's say I came out. Now, I'm coming from the East Coast, and I'm not just going to come for 2 days, 3 days. I'm going to come out for like 10 days probably. So let's say I did 4 days in Disneyland. What else around that area would I enjoy going to see? Now, I'm thinking maybe Vegas or Universal Studios, which I did these when I was in college, or even San Diego, maybe the zoo or LA beaches. What do you recommend would be a really
Yeah, if you're a theme park fan, there's Universal Studios, which is about an hour drive. Well, depending on traffic. If there's traffic, it's probably like a 3-hour drive.
Yeah.
And Universal Studios here is perfectly fine. They have Harry Potter. They have it's an actual working studio, so they have a pretty extensive backlot studio tour that can sometimes take over an hour, and you're visiting actual film sets and stuff like that. And then there's Knott's Berry Farm, which is a very old classic theme park that Walt Disney himself was a fan of. It's funny, Walter Knott was the owner of Knott's Berry Farm, and he was friends with Walt Disney, so Walt, and they would visit each other's parks and that sort of thing. And then if you have more time to spare, there is the San Diego Zoo, which is 2 hours away, or there's the LA Zoo, which isn't as good, but it's a perfectly okay zoo. And then you have the beaches, and there's a ton of options for beaches. So you can, if you really want to do it up and go to a fancy beach, you can go up to Malibu, which is about an hour and a half away, or you can go to some of the local beaches in like Laguna or Huntington that are closer to Disneyland.
Yeah, we did those. I got a kick out of Venice Beach.
Yeah, Venice Beach is an interesting place. It's
eclectic.
It's almost kind of like a shanty town. It's funny because for as many tourists as Venice Beach gets, you'd expect it to, get kind of like Vegas, where it's a lot of big corporations, but no, it's still a lot of little weird like ma and pop shops.
I really enjoyed Universal Studios when we went. I'm sure have you put rides and like that in there too now?
Oh yeah, there's the typical Universal rides: Transformers, Simpsons, Jurassic Park, Harry Potter.
Oh, so they got big roller coaster kind of stuff going on there now?
Yeah,
okay.
It's a full-on theme park, yeah.
Because can you catch a show, like a real taping of a television show?
They do have that available there. When you go to the park, they have a list of like today's productions, and then they'll sometimes be recruiting for audience members.
Right.
But even if they don't you can go to tons of different shows. Like I've been to Conan O'Brien tapings a few times. Kind of in that general area.
Yeah, I did that. I thought that was a lot of fun. I forget the name of the show.
Oh, it's a ton of fun.
It's definitely unique to that area.
Yeah. I wish Disney World...
show taping, it's free, so...
Yeah, right.
Cool.
And I wish Disney World still in Hollywood Studios was a working studio. We've talked about that, but...
They have the mock studios.
It used to be years ago. All right, Lindsay, we're going to take another right turn here, curve?
Yeah, we're going to talk about one of our favorite things.
Oh, okay. I know what that is.
It's food.
I love food.
We talk about
Everybody's
food a lot.
favorite.
Yeah. All the geeks just yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is from our friend Holly, who lives down in Florida. She's wondering, what are the top unique foods that you can find in Disneyland? This includes like actual sit-down restaurants, snacks, quick service, that sort of thing. So what would you say are like the top unique finds in Disneyland?
I would say the most unique and what I would consider a must-do for any Disney fan is eating at the Blue Bayou. It is a restaurant that is inside Pirates of the Caribbean. The ride is a little bit different here. It's, you start out in kind of a Louisiana bayou, and then so when you eat at Blue Bayou, you can sit at the riverside and watch the Pirates of the Caribbean boats slowly float by before they start their ride, and it's very atmospheric and hyper detailed. And the food is good as well. It's a little expensive. For dinner, if you get the surf and turf, it's like $50. But
well, we're used to that.
I think it's highly worth it.
Yeah.
Other than that, there's kind of legendary and unique. I don't know. Well, not maybe not unique, but the legendary Disneyland food items such as the corn dog. There's a corn dog cart on Main Street. Sometimes you can wait a half hour just to get this corn dog, and then when you finally do, it's just this massive thing like you would get at a state fair almost.
That's pretty special.
Well, yeah, that's unique then for Disneyland.
Yeah,
I was wondering what kind of snacks are.
It's sort of like you can get the hot dogs at Casey's Corner in Disney World. I would say that's unique. So definitely the corn dog.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And then there's stuff like Plaza Inn, which is another Walt era restaurant that really hasn't changed much in terms of decor. But there you can get a really delicious fried chicken dinner, and then you can either eat it outside in the patio and just kind of people watch, or catch the parade or fireworks, or you can eat inside and see kind of the interesting Victorian era decoration. Over in DCA, their food they actually have a good variety. One of my favorites, and one of a lot of people's favorites, is Paradise Garden Grill, and they serve Mediterranean skewers, and it's a quick service restaurant, but it's pretty much table service quality.
Nice.
Yeah, it's really delicious. And then the kind of the upscale flagship restaurant in all of Disneyland Resort is Napa Rose, and that's inside the Grand Californian. And it's just crazy high quality food. And then they have a chef's counter in there where you can sit in the kitchen and watch the chefs prepare the food. And then there's Carthay Circle Theater, which is the restaurant inside California Adventure that's also kind of fine dining. And the restaurant itself is modeled after the theater where Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs premiered. What else? I'm trying to think of like the real unique food items. Mm-hmm. There's in New Orleans Square, you can get a bag of Mickey-shaped beignets, and those are very popular.
Oh, that's a favorite of our listeners.
That was a key word right there.
Yeah, my ears just went burp because the French Quarter serves those beignets, and that's interesting.
But Mickey-shaped.
Mickey-shaped. Cool. Wow. Yeah, they put sugar on them.
They have special ones throughout the year too. So for Halloween time, they have pumpkin beignets, and then right now for Christmas time, they have the crushed candy cane beignets. They're also really delicious.
What's really cool, and we've talked about this for Disney World too, is what are the kind of unique things that are either at a resort, like we talk about the beignets from Port Orleans, or how is it that they have all these little unique things at different places that you can't only find there? You know what I mean? So
right.
Yeah. Do you have like a snack or something that, like, even though you go like so much every week, is there something that you're like, I gotta have that, every so often?
I find myself eating the bread bowls a lot, and the bread bowls are so popular they've now expanded them to like 4 different restaurants. Yeah, and there's a lot of different choices for flavors. They bake the bread fresh on site.
Yeah.
So it's just really delicious. My favorite is the lobster bisque bread bowl that's at Harbor Galley. It's this little kind of shack across from Haunted Mansion.
That sounds really good.
Yeah, I go for the bread bowls, and I when it comes around for Halloween and Thanksgiving time, my favorite dessert is the pumpkin fudge from any of the Candy Palace or Pooh Corner or any of the candy stores.
Yeah, it's so great to hear that there's so many great food options and different unique little things that you could find in Disneyland. Because when I think of Disneyland, I really just think of the attractions and, like you said, the history and everything like that. I don't really go thinking I'm going to find some unique food or like, cause sort of like in Disney World where I know that they've got that world class restaurants and that sort of thing. I don't think about that at Disneyland, but it's good to hear it's there, and you could find it and have a really good meal.
It's that attention to detail too. Like Guy is explaining how, at a certain time of year they have this treat, like this pumpkin treat.
That's very Disney.
It's very distinct. It's for that time of year, and people probably look forward to it. They will remember it and go back to it.
But I love that. I'm so pleased to hear that they have this.
The food at Disneyland is great because it's even the quick service is high quality, and they're almost forced to because they have such a high population of locals that can eat anywhere outside of the parks. So they kind of have to make the food good, and it usually really is like. We get a lot of feedback at Touring Plans and the guide about how good the food is at Disneyland.
Well, I think that's for adults. That's going to bring them in time and time again, and it does for us. I was thinking about that even today on my afternoon walks. Like, why do I keep going back? And the big thing is the food. And the other thing, Guy. Now, this is the big pressure question I'm giving you right here in the middle of the show. So your whole reputation as an unofficial guide author is on the line now. Okay.
Okay.
So, where do you get your 11 o'clock margarita? Okay, that's kind of a shtick that we have here.
Yeah.
Right? But we'll take the pressure off a little bit. But where's kind of your favorite adult drink, or where's a nice lounge or place to kind of have a nice drink?
There's actually quite a few lounges. None in Disneyland, obviously, unless you go to Club 33, which is a private club. In California Adventure, there's several lounges where you can go and get adult beverages, and then there's also quick service carts. Like they have a margarita cart in the Pacific Wharf section of the park. So there you go.
11 a.m. I can get it at 11 a.m. too. Like, see, we're talking.
Yeah,
Epcot opens
the alcohol might start being served at 11 a.m.
See, that all comes from the Epcot World Showcase opens at 11 a.m.
Oh, okay.
That's where that shtick comes from.
And that's where you'll find us when we're in Epcot.
As soon as World Showcase opens, we're making a beeline to the Mexican.
And then there's Downtown Disney right there in the parks, which actually I guess is a good time to mention another benefit of Disneyland. There's no real effort in park hopping. Disneyland and California Adventure are right across from each other. And then Downtown Disney is also right there to the, right or left, depending on, which park you're coming out of.
Yep.
And there's several lounges and bars and all that. And then you have lounges in all three of the hotels where you can. So there's no shortage of alcohol at Disneyland Resort.
So the in-between area, there's places to hang out between the two parks?
Yeah, it's really just an open kind of walkway. It's called the Esplanade. Yeah, like Downtown Disney is literally right there. So if you want to take a break from the parks and just kind of shop or eat or something, you can take a 2-minute walk to Downtown Disney.
So how big an area is Downtown Disney? I think, of course, you got me thinking of...
We're thinking of Disney Springs,
Disney
which
Springs.
is massive.
It's nowhere near on the scale of Disney Springs, especially now after they've opened up so much more of it. But, it's still a pretty good size. I don't know in terms of square footage or anything, but, there's like 20 restaurants there.
Oh, wow.
50 shops or something like that. Yeah, there's plenty to do there.
Nice. All right. I'm glad. Okay, you did fine on that question, by the way.
I don't even drink, and I
see,
that's all
professional.
Right.
There you go. For us Disney World natives, people who really just go to Disney World, how big of a hurdle would it be for Disney World travelers to get into the groove of like Disneyland? Because, like you said, we have this huge resort that we're used to traveling here
Are we going to be disappointed? If
we already asked that question.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, but it feels like I might have a pacing problem in Disneyland or get overwhelmed. Have you heard any feedback from travelers who've done both parks, or in your experience?
What we mostly hear is that it's easier to tour the California parks, just because the mostly the size. Even then, there is a lot to do. The advice I give to everyone is, make your plan, know your plan of attack on the parks, but then still take time to kind of slow down and take in the sights and just see all the little things. Because it's easy to miss the little things. Like there's next to Sleeping Beauty Castle to the right is Snow White's wishing well, so you can go there and take a picture, meet a character maybe, and then there's like a waterfall with stone statues of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs off to the side, and it's just like one of those really pretty little Disneyland things that shouldn't be missed, but is easy to miss.
I like that, Guy. And do you guys cover that kind of stuff in the book?
We definitely do. And in our blog posts and everything, we like to talk about stuff off the beaten path. And, it's when people get into vacation mode so easily that they need to be reminded to kind of slow down and smell the roses.
Yeah,
I agree.
We give that advice to the people who travel to Disney World because it can be pretty overwhelming, but I can imagine it's very similar in Disneyland because everything's, like I said, it's so pressed together that you might kind of glaze over and just see the big things. But that sounds like I'm definitely going to go visit Snow White's wishing well because that sounds so neat.
I don't want to miss
I don't want to miss that kind of stuff.
I don't want to miss the details. And like you were saying, if I can get there early in the morning and I'm not distracted by a lot of people, I can really kind of chill and check that out. That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Now, you guys at the Touring Plans, you're known for your touring plans. And when we first had Bob Sellinger on, he went into the real technical details.
The mathematics
of it. And Len Testa obviously talked about that when we had him about Disney World. So what do you, from a researcher standpoint, what's the biggest difference in touring between Walt Disney World and Disneyland and doing your touring plans?
I think it's just the volume of attractions. Yep. We find that it can be hard to fit everything you want to do in a day. If you overload it.
Yeah.
That's why we kind of recommend the 2-day plans. Other than that, there's really not much difference. The rides that are popular in Disney World are also popular here. With some exceptions, like Toy Story Mania and Soarin' aren't nearly as popular in California as they are in Florida. But Peter Pan, Space Mountain, stuff like that are all just as popular here. The plans work in both parks. Like they really just, no matter where you go, they help you beat the crowds. They take out the guesswork of touring the parks. So there's really not much of a difference.
So when would you say is the best time to visit Disneyland, like during the year?
These days it's hard because it's just so busy year round, just like Disney World is. Mm-hmm. I like January kind of as the Christmas season is dying down. Like I think this year it's stopping January 8th, but just those kind of first 2 or 3 weeks of January. There's also a couple of weeks early in October. And October is great because the weather during the day is still, in the mid 70s, but then at night it, gets into the mid 60s, so it's not too hot or cold, and the crowds aren't too bad. But then once Halloween rolls around, it's just insane. But yeah, so early October, early January are good dates.
Yeah, because we know that from our personal experience and from listening to all the unofficial guide people is the parks are pretty much never.
We're getting personal.
They're always busy.
We're getting personal reports. We have a lot of our listeners in Disney World in December, and they are reporting back massive crowds that they didn't expect.
Basically sardines the whole time.
Yeah.
We've learned, and I think in our personal experience, we know we call the best times of year to go. It takes into account the number of people that are going to be in attendance at the park, but also the events that are going on in the parks.
Right.
So we like to go during Flower and Garden Festival time because we find in between the spring break weeks, we find pockets of time where it's really great to not only get a lower crowd level, but really enjoy those Flower and Garden festivities at Epcot. So are there any special events in Disneyland that you would say would kind of push someone to go at that time of the year over another time?
Yeah, I'd say Christmas and Halloween are the big ones. They really go all out for those holidays. Mm. Like, in Disneyland, there's no Christmas party, so all of the Christmas stuff is, I don't want to say free, but they're included in your park ticket.
Cool.
So you can see the Christmas parade, you can see the Christmas fireworks, and then there's just several other things like carolers out and, entertainment, special food around the parks. Halloween, there is a Halloween party, but you can still see a lot of the Halloween stuff without going to the parties. So there's Haunted Mansion Holiday, where it's a top to bottom Nightmare Before Christmas overlay of the Haunted Mansion that is really something that people should see if they're a fan. There's a Space Mountain Ghost Galaxy for Halloween, which is like a very spooky, ghastly ghost thing flying around Space Mountain as you ride through it. And then during Christmas time, Haunted Mansion Holiday sticks around because it's 2 holidays colliding. Mm-hmm. And then there's It's a Small World Holiday, which is amazing. It's one of my favorite Disney things is It's a Small World holiday. It's just like top to bottom, every scene is decked out in Christmas stuff, Christmas holidays around the world, and then the outside has a Osborne Family Lights style Christmas lights overlay on the facade of It's a Small World, and it's just like so cool. They do a lighting ceremony. It's very, very nice, and I highly recommend you should see that. And if you want to get the lowest Christmas crowds, then go early in December, right when the Christmas season is starting, because they started in like late November.
That is so cool. Like I'm so interested, and I really want to see those overlays.
Yeah.
So that's
I really like that answer.
Yeah, it's something very special that they don't have at Disney World.
Is it the busiest time of year at Christmas time, Guy?
Yeah, I mean, the 2 weeks surrounding Christmas Day and New Year's are extremely busy, and then 4th of July season, spring break season, those are pretty much the big three of crowds. Thanksgiving.
Do they do big fireworks on New Year's?
They do, yeah. They do the countdown in front of the castle.
Yeah.
And then also in California Adventure, they do fountains and fireworks. For World of Color, they do a special countdown there, and then fireworks in the Paradise Bay.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, the other thing I want to know about Halloween, can you go trick-or-treating like you do at Disney World?
You can. They have Mickey's Halloween Party, and they have the trick-or-treat trails, and They have really, really spectacular Halloween fireworks for that party, where Zero from Nightmare Before Christmas flies back and forth on the above the castle. And then actually new for this year was they actually finally got a real Halloween parade that was really cool.
Love that. That's so cool.
I got some more questions to ask. Okay, I'm going to bounce a little bit here. What are the top 5 you got to do at Disneyland attractions and rides?
Definitely Pirates of the Caribbean. It's everybody says it's longer. That's the easy thing to call out about it. But besides that, it's super detailed, just looks great. They keep it in really good condition.
Has it changed over the years?
Yeah, it's changed a little bit. They added Jack Sparrow to it, like they did in Florida. But other than that, it's
always been bigger and longer and
just better.
Well, I've heard that. Yeah, I've heard that it's better than the Disney World one, which is weird. Why?
I'm
why
excited
they toned it down at Disney World?
Yeah,
when they
I like
more
the Disney
space.
World one, so I'm psyched to see the Disneyland.
I know. I'm not sure why that happened that way.
Yeah, and then there's Indiana Jones Adventure, which is if you've ridden Dinosaur at Animal Kingdom, you know what to expect with that. But it's just in the Indiana Jones universe, obviously. Just an incredible ride. And then in California Adventure, there's Radiator Springs Racers, which is, uses the test track technology, but then has a fully realized mountain range from Radiator Springs.
Yeah.
Other than that, I think those are kind of the big 3, but I think there's a lot of charm left in some of the classics like Peter Pan. And you say, Peter Pan is in Disney World too, obviously, but the Disneyland version they recently went through an extensive upgrade of it, so it kind of brought a lot of modern touches into it, but still feels like a classic Disney dark ride, and I think that's a definite must-see. So let's see, I'm on number 4, so I got one more to go. Better make it a good one. I would say this is just my personal preference. I really enjoy the Disneyland Railroad and the Main Street transportation vehicles. So the Disneyland Railroad is a bit different than the Florida version. There's a scene where you go through a diorama of the Grand Canyon, which seems strange, but it somehow works.
Okay,
works for me.
And that's another thing I was talking about earlier. How it's just another thing that is a Walt era thing that has his fingerprints on it.
Yeah,
it was brought over from the '64 World's Fair. They added it to the train, and then after you leave the Grand Canyon diorama, you see a bunch of dinosaurs, and you enter the primeval world. And other than that, there's just a lot of little touches around the train track. It's being changed now because of Star Wars Land construction, but just the route it takes along the edges of rivers of America is just so nice and serene and cool. It's just one of those things where you truly feel like you're in a different world.
Well, I want to take this one then from the press release that they sent over some new attractions. I guess to California Adventure, Luigi Rollicking Roadsters, Soarin' Over the Horizon. Is that the same Soarin' as we know in Florida?
Yeah, Soarin' Around the World. Yeah, it's pretty much exactly the same. They just, the queue kind of, it pays homage to the history of California aviation.
Yep.
Okay.
So it has like the Aviators Hall of Fame. That's pretty much the only difference, though.
Okay, and that was there before the Florida one, I think, too, wasn't it?
I think Soarin' Around the World started on the same day as Florida, but the original California version opened with the park in 2001.
Okay. So how about the Luigi Rollicking Roadsters? What's that?
Luigi's Rollickin' Roadsters replaced Luigi's Flying Tires in Cars Land. It's a really simple ride. You know, it's one of those like C or D ticket rides that you would kind of overlook. But the interesting twist here is that it's a trackless ride system. So there's an air of kind of unpredictability in it because you don't know where you're going to go. So you sit in these cars and Luigi plays music and then the cars kind of dance together and spin around and they go around the dance floor. And it's just a unique, interesting little ride that hardly ever has a wait, even though it's new, that you should definitely take time to see because it's so unique.
Good for
That's
youngsters.
cool. Yeah, we're waiting for that technology to hit Disney World, the trackless.
Well, and the thing mentions the Frozen stage musical, but beyond that, what other kind of stage shows are a must-do in Disneyland?
The Frozen musical is actually surprisingly good. It's a long show. It's about 70 minutes long.
Wow.
Yeah, they really they really tried to cram the whole movie in there.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. So you have the actors on the stage, but then the scene transitions are actually projected onto the stage and the wall above it, so it creates almost a Soarin' effect where you have this huge, large-scale projection. Kind of, you're up on a frozen mountaintop and you're flying down to Arendelle, and it's just a really amazing thing to see in a theater. There's something you do not expect.
Yeah.
Other than that, there's Mickey and the Magical Map over in Disneyland, which is kind of the standard like Disney musical variety show.
Yeah.
So they have like it's Mickey, and he's somehow upset his master Yensid, or his master, because he's the apprentice. So it kind of takes you through different Disney animated films, and people dance around and sing and stuff, and the characters come out, and it's a cute show. It's not something I would see every trip, but it's a cute show that's worth seeing at least once if you have the time.
But sorry, I was listening to the stage shows. Like I know
Lindsay loves that.
I know I really like theater, so but I was really blown away by what you were talking about, the projections in Frozen. I love how Disney integrates that technology into like even just like a stage show. It really immerses you.
I know. I was imagining it as he was talking about. I don't think we have anything like that in Disney World. With a live audience. With the projection
like that? I'm trying to think of things. No, nothing like that. But I'm trying to think of. They've been bringing little things with projections into Disney World. And I've loved everything that I've seen so far. It's so cool.
Surprisingly, I've loved, and people have talked to us on the show about the Frozen stage show they're doing at Hollywood Studios. It's not 70 minutes long, but
we'll probably see it.
It's a lot of fun.
In a month or so. Okay, so this was a big question. It's still from Holly. I was wondering about this too. With Magic Bands, we're getting Magic Bands 2.0 here in Disney World. But do you think that Disneyland and California Adventure would benefit from the My Disney Experience app and all the fun stuff that comes with that?
Technology?
Yeah.
It's, I think they would have to change some things to kind of fit the audience that is going to Disneyland. I don't think there's as many people who plan 6 months in advance or a year in advance like Disney World has.
Yeah.
And the rumors of how it's My Magic Plus is going to roll out at Disneyland is it's basically just taking the paper fast passes and putting them on phones. So there's no advanced planning, there's no book 3 fast pass pluses at a time. It's just you get to the park, you can get a fast pass on your phone instead of having to walk to an attraction, and that's pretty much the only difference. And the other rumor is there's going to be no Magic Bands at Disneyland. Yeah, I'm actually it's it's kind of mysterious to me why only Disney World got the magic bands and no one else.
Mm-hmm.
Like the rumor forever was that Shanghai Disneyland was going to open with fully integrated magic bands and Fast Pass Plus and all that, but then it still opened with paper Fast Passes. So I'm wondering if they got cold feet or if something went wrong at Disney World. I just don't know, but
the cost.
Yeah, the cost was a big thing.
Could be it.
But I know it was a huge adjustment for Disney World to switch over to My Magic Plus, and we're still they just updated the website not too long ago too.
It's constant.
It's always changing,
work,
and it's a lot of work. And I mean, when it works, it's great. But like you said, there's a different audience over there in California with the more day tripper kind of people.
Yeah, and with Disney World over the last, I don't even know how many years now, but they've kind of conditioned their audience to want to book 180 days in advance. Like get your dining reservations in, or you're just going to miss out completely. At Disneyland, through most of the year, you can still go on any given day and get a reservation like day of, or just walk up. Like I very rarely get turned away from a Disney sit-down restaurant. I mean, it happens obviously, but not as often as Disney World, where like sometimes you just can't eat anywhere.
This is kind of related to all this. Guy, a good friend of ours, Chris Cates, she's going for one day in February. She wants to know what are the newest tricks for fast passes between the two parks, and when would you recommend a possible Disneyland and Disney World combo annual pass?
That's two
I didn't even
questions
know
there,
about that. Yeah, that's got a couple of questions.
Yeah, I had they called this the Premier Pass. I had the Premier Pass up until a couple of years ago when it just, they raised the price just to an unaffordable level.
Yeah.
You just got to do the math and see if it works out in your favor with it, because the cost right now is if you take a Disney World Premium Pass and a Disneyland Signature Plus Pass and add them together. So Disneyland Signature Plus Pass on its own is $1,049. So if you're going to go as many days as that will pay off itself, or if you'll come out on top of that deal, then do it. But if not, then don't do it. It's just because if the math doesn't add up, then it's just a shiny gold pass that you can kind of
and as far as fast passes, do you really? I know in Disney World, you just absolutely have to take advantage of that program because of the lines. It's the same way in Disneyland.
Yeah, there's a few rides where you should definitely take advantage of it at, because right now Space Mountain is doing Hyperspace Mountain, which is the Star Wars overlay. So that's very popular, and fast passes can run out around 2 or 3 in the afternoon on busy days, maybe sometimes noon. You just got to kind of prioritize the rides you want to ride. So Indiana Jones Adventure, Hyperspace Mountain, Radiator Springs Racers, that's one that can run out in early morning. But other than that, fast passes don't really run out. So I would just say prioritize the rides you want to ride, and then just get the other ones as you go along. And you don't get them ahead of time. Not like Disneyland or Disney World. No, there's no booking fast passes ahead of time. You just you still got to go up to the attractions and put your ticket in and get the paper fast pass.
Oh wow!
Getting some nostalgia from that.
Nostalgia, yeah, like the old good old days.
Send the runners to get
the runners. Yeah, I did see that in the book too.
Yeah.
Lindsay's got one.
Question.
Yep.
So this is another one from one of our listeners. A lot of our listeners have kids and they love character interactions. Where are some of the best places to meet characters in the parks, and specifically characters like Mickey and Tigger from Toy Story and Cars? So in Cars Land and California Adventure, they have meet and greets pretty much all day. They alternate out between Lightning McQueen and Mater at Cozy Cone Hotel. So that's pretty easy to meet, and the wait is usually not very long. Mm-hmm. For Mickey, he meets in a lot of different places. The biggest one is his house in Toontown. You enter his house, and that's basically serves as the queue, and it's it's super detailed. It's like you're walking into a cartoon. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then you walk through his house, and then you're in his backyard, and then you enter his movie barn where you actually meet Mickey. And depending on your luck, it's one of 3 different Mickeys. So it's either Classic Mickey, Sorcerer's Apprentice Mickey, or Steamboat Willie Mickey. Oh, cool. I was going to ask you what kind of Mickey meets there. But yeah. That is really cool to catch Steamboat Mickey.
Yeah, and then throughout the day, Mickey and the Fab Five also meet in Town Square on Main Street. Like pretty much any time of day, you can go out to Town Square and see any member of the Fab Five, usually all at the same time. For Pooh and Tigger, they meet near their ride in Critter Country. There's a dedicated Winnie the Pooh meet and greet, and they'll usually have 3 characters out in that, 2 to 3, I should say. So it's Rabbit, Tigger, Pooh, Piglet sometimes. But yeah, other than that, yeah, characters are kind of out randomly too. They still roam around, so you can still see Mary Poppins and Bert, and the princesses and Alice from Alice in Wonderland. A good tip is if you are looking to meet a specific character, go to guest services cast member at the beginning of the day and ask, and they'll tell you if that character will be out, and if so, where, because Disneyland sets their character schedules at the beginning of the day. They don't really have much advanced planning on that.
Yeah. Oh, that's really neat. But like I think you mentioned wandering characters. Do they have? Would you say more characters wandering in Disneyland? I'm thinking Disneyland and Magic Kingdom as like the 2 comparison ones. But like in Disney World, you could see like the evil stepsisters walking around in Fantasyland. Do they have anything like that? Like really just wandering characters?
Yeah, there's a ton of them. You'll find Aladdin, you'll find the princesses, just a big variety of them. Yeah.
Sweet.
One of the other questions, this sort of related, is that Holly asked. One of the things we love at Disney World is what they call streetmosphere, kind of the actors,
right,
that put on a street show. Mm-hmm. Of some, it might be a comedy. It might be a comedy or singers or like that. Any of the top ones in Disneyland that you like, Guy?
There's nothing like that in Disneyland, really, but over in California Adventure on Buena Vista Street, which is their main street, basically, they have the citizens of Buena Vista Street, and they're roaming around, and they're usually really funny to talk to.
Yeah, in character.
They don't necessarily put on a show, but they do have a couple of different shows that happen on Buena Vista Street, like Five and Dime, which is kind of like a little musical review that happens with a little band trying to like make it big in Hollywood. And then there's the red car trolley newsboys. So one of the red car trolleys will drive out, and then the newsboys will come out and sing songs about selling papers and stuff.
You have one, Liz?
I have one from our listeners.
Yeah, go.
So this comes from our friend Mandy, and she has a toddler, and they're visiting the California Adventure Park. So this is kind of a tour guide question. Her toddler loves cars and bugs.
Bug's Life.
Okay.
Bug's Life. All right. So we're wondering, and she's wondering, do they have enough time to experience everything there is to experience in one day for a kid who loves those 2 character groups movies?
Yeah, I mean, there should be no problem. There's Bug's Land, which is based off of Bug's Life, obviously. And they have a meet and greet with Flick there, and several very, very friendly little kid rides there that almost any age can ride. So that can be done pretty quickly. That never really gets very busy. And then in Cars Land, the meet and greet is easy and quick. And then there's Mater's Junkyard Jamboree and Luigi's Rollickin' Roadsters, which can be ridden really quick. The only time sink there is Radiator Springs Racers, but with that, just get to the park early, get a fast pass first thing, and you should be good to go.
So do you think you could do everything in one day at California Adventure Park?
Oh yeah, definitely. There's not a whole lot to do there, but you could definitely do it.
And this is another question about cars, the Radiator Springs Racers, because I have no idea what it looks like over there. But could you watch the cars racing, or is it kind of blocked off from view?
There's like a road in front of the ride, and you can see the outdoor portion of the ride, because there's like an indoor dark ride portion, and then there's the actual like race where you race another car. But yeah, you can sit there and watch it, and just at night, it's gorgeous. Just they light it beautiful, and it's really must see.
Nice, because I asked that because our listener, she has a toddler, so I don't know how big that kid's going to be if it's like Test Track. I'm sure there's a height restriction.
Yeah,
so,
I mean the toddler's never going to want to leave Cars Land probably.
Yeah, but it's cool to hear that he can go see that at least.
Yeah,
not if he can't ride it.
And there's like a restaurant. There's Flo's V8 Cafe right across from Radiator Springs Racers, so you can also have a meal and just sit there and watch the ride as well.
Oh, cool! Very cool.
All right, I got a question. So you were talking about, I think, an overlay at Space Mountain, but I was just wondering, they're talking about a big change for the Tower of Terror, right? Is it an overlay? It's
not an overlay. It doesn't sound.
What's
like
it? Yeah, for the
total change.
What's that?
Yeah, it's sounds like they're just converting it. Actually, I was there today. They had a little bit of the scrim removed, so you could actually see like the new color scheme. And yeah, just looking at the concept art, they're going all in on that. It's going to be super thick Guardians of the Galaxy theming.
Yeah, so they're transforming it to Guardians of the Galaxy. Is that the external? It must be the whole story must be changing then, right? Obviously.
Yeah, pretty much everything, inside and out. So all the hotel theming will be stripped out, and it'll just be a new ride. Pretty much.
Where is this? Where's the Tower of Terror currently located? Like, I'm trying to figure out how it's going to fit into the atmosphere.
Yeah, is it?
Like,
it's on. It's in the Hollywoodland section of the park on Sunset Boulevard. Kind of like it is in the studios.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's not going to fit very well unless they kind of retheme that area as like it's a motion picture backlot. I don't know how they're going to explain it.
That's what I was thinking.
But it's visible from everywhere. Like you go on Buena Vista Street, and there's multiple references to Tower of Terror. To the Hollywood Tower Hotel. They mention it in the little street shows. The characters talk about it. There's signs all over the place. So.
What do you think of that? I wonder if people have mixed emotions about this, don't they? Because the Tower of Terror, I think, is so classic and awesome.
Yeah, that's not the original one.
Why would you change? I don't understand the rationale of changing it other than promoting that movie.
Yeah, I don't understand the changing an already super popular ride.
Yeah.
Why not just build something else? And I get it, money, whatever. But it's like they make plenty of money.
Yeah, but from what I've heard, Guardians of the Galaxy has been a huge hit. Maybe not with our crowd, like me and our family. It's not really. We don't really.
I haven't seen it all yet, and I gotta watch it. I haven't even seen it.
It's not bad, but we were all kind of perplexed as to why they would get rid of the Tower of Terror for that kind of attraction. Like I get that they're going to be replacing in Disney World Ellen's Energy Adventure with something Guardians of the Galaxy. I get that,
right?
But Tower of Terror seemed weird.
I know it's already great. Why change it?
Yeah,
it's. I don't know.
So, and sort of I got another one in that same kind of vein. One everyone is absolutely excited about is the Star Wars land that they are building. You have any? Do you have?
He's unexcited.
Do you have any inside scoop there, or anything else you can tell us about that we can be excited about for the new Star Wars land?
I mean, just the size. It really can't be understated. It's really easy to see when you're at Disneyland because the parking structure for the park overlooks the construction site.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, I mean, from up there, it looks like it's equal to half the size of the entire park. It's just huge.
How did they find the property for this? I always heard that
they took a lot of their backstage area and just kind of moved them off-site, and they kind of cut the Rivers of America in half, which was unfortunate, but progress.
Now, there wasn't anything Star Wars really going on beforehand, right?
There's Star Tours in Tomorrowland.
Okay, but they had one thing. But it sounds like
that's pretty much it.
So it sounds like
as far as the rides, I've heard that I don't even know what it's called, if it even has an official name yet. But the Stormtrooper ride is going to be kind of like Spider-Man or Transformers at Universal. But yeah, just looking at the concept art, it's going to be really nice. The land.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. I mean, we're not huge Star Wars fans here, but Star Wars is pretty cool.
It's iconic. I mean, it's totally,
it's
totally
and
iconic.
Really, the studios needs all the help it can get.
Right. And everyone loves the story, and it's got it's a great movie to do a lot with.
It fits that Disney. Like you need that Disney touch to get it really. I think Disney did a great job with rebooting the movies and everything, and I think they're going to do a good job bringing it to the parks.
Actually, I think the new one started today.
The next one
started today.
Yeah, that's like the in-betweener one between the big ones.
Yeah,
that's definitely a must-do for this Christmas time to go see that movie for
It's exciting.
For
New
us.
things happening in
Ben.
Disneyland. That's cool.
Ben and I are going to be doing that one, Lindsay. Well, Lindsay, I think we went through a lot of different stuff.
Yeah, I learned some things.
And we got all of our listener questions pretty much in there. Apologize if we missed some.
Yeah, I think we did.
We were bouncing around a little bit there. But any last thoughts, Guy? Should we make our trip out to Disneyland soon?
2017 is going to be a good year. Right now the railroad is closed, the Rivers of America attractions are closed, so that's kind of missing out on the stuff that I like. So taking the Mark Twain around the river or taking the train around the park. But 2017, once kind of spring rolls around, all that stuff's going to be coming back online. So 2017 is going to be a pretty good year to visit the parks if you can get out there.
Is there any new stuff for 2017?
Besides the stuff we
just Guardians of the Galaxy over at California Adventure, but for now, not much else.
And how far away is Star Wars?
I guess depending on who you ask, I've heard 2018, 2019, 2020.
sounds a lot like Avatar Land.
Yeah.
Well,
but they are definitely making progress. Like I said, I was there earlier today, and there's stuff there. There's buildings and stuff there now. So, yeah.
Good to hear.
Well, we really appreciate you coming on the show, Guy. I had an awesome time learning about Disneyland. One day, once I get some of these college payments done, we're definitely going to make a run out there.
Venture out there.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me on. This was a lot of fun.
All right. We will talk to you soon, and I hope to meet you I know you're in the parks all the time, so we'll let you know when we're out there.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, that interview with Guy Selga Jr. sure gets me excited for Disneyland. I hope I can take the family out there in the near future. But before then, we're going to be talking to some other unofficial guide authors, like an author who worked on the Beyond Disney book, which talks about all the other things that you could do in the Orlando area. And we also are going to have an author from the Disney Cruise Line. And I know our friend Jen Galambus is excited about that one. Now, before we leave, I want to play you a couple Geek Speaks that were called in by Team Burcase. Let's play this first one from Holly.
We are going to be doing the park for a few hours, but I wanted to call in and recommend the storytellers for the holidays around the world at Epcot. They were awesome. We got to check out Helga in Germany, the Lucky Lion dance in China, and the Santa Gnome in Norway, and it was a lot of fun. The storytellers are very engaging, they're very animated, and they like to usually get kids involved, which is a lot of fun to watch people's kids kind of having that interactivity with these characters. So I highly recommend it if you can check them out.
All right, Holly, thanks for calling that in. Yeah, Disney World at Christmas time is great, especially over at Epcot where they have all those celebrations and storytellers. That is great. I didn't know about the Lucky Lion dance in China. I remember it used to be a monkey that was there. All right, let's hear from Peter Burcase as he talks about the resort that they stayed on. I believe it was for a short weekend trip.
Hey, geeks. This is Peter Berta of Team Burcase calling in with a Disney tip for you all. So we recently stayed at the Palace, formerly owned by Wyndham, now by Hilton. And I gotta say, if you're looking for something that's right near Disney Springs, it's the perfect location. Got a lazy river, jacuzzi, nice little cafe, and we stayed off in their Lakeview Tower, which was relatively quiet all the time. Some renovations right now, and it's no more expensive than you would for on resort property, but you can walk across to Disney Springs and to the Sarasota Springs bus stations, which is a great way to get to and from the park. So if you're really looking to do a lot of stuff that has to do with Disney Springs or interact with that area, I think it's prime location for you. And I think it's something worth checking out, especially if you can find a deal or any other kind of travel site like that. All right. I wish you all a very happy holidays, and I hope you're dreaming of WDW. Bye.
All right, Peter, you got a little garbled there with the name of the hotel, but the name is Lake Buena Vista Palace Hilton down in the downtown area of Walt Disney World. Well, it used to be downtown Disney. Now it's Disney Springs. All right, that's it for tonight. And I want to remind you that we have so much fun every day on our Facebook group and community. If you want to be a part of that, all you have to do is search for that Geekin on WDW and ask to join our group. I will chat with you because I want to keep it really friendly and make sure you're a listener of the show. Also, if you have a question or any kind of comments for me, you can email me at kurt.stone@geekinonwdw.com. You can leave us a voicemail just like Peter and Holly just did on the Geek Speak voice hotline. Tell us about any of the trip reports, some interesting stories or tips, or if you've got even a question, 860-294-4774. The Geekin Gazette is a weekly newsletter that I send out usually on Sundays. It's our top 5 favorite news items of the week and what's going on in our Geekin Family podcast community. You can join that on our Facebook page. There's a place there to sign up, or on our website. If you or a friend is planning a Walt Disney World vacation, we'd love it if you used our travel agents, Susan, Jennifer, or EJ at Fairy Tale Concierge. You can go out to our website at geekinonwdw.com to get their contact information. Thanks for going geeking on Walt Disney World with us. We really appreciate you listening. Have a magical day, and I hope all your dreams come true. Yeah, and you get into the parks quite often then?
Yeah, because this is my full-time job, so
Oh, wow.
yeah, I can make it out to the parks a couple times a week.
Perfect.
That's so cool.
Very awesome. All right. Well, what do you say? You want to get ready to get going?
Yeah, ready when you are.
All right. Lindsay, you ready?
Yes.
All right.
Your opinion, it's really cool.
For our show, we've been doing a lot of trip reports
Oh, okay.
lately with Disney World. Our show is primarily a
We're very
fan-based,
community-based.
based, and so
Oh, cool.
we spend a lot of time with the relationships that we build with the podcast, and I have such a long list of people who are in the parks or coming back from the parks.
You're meeting like 8 people in like 4 days when we go in a month.
And we got 2 people down there right now. It's just like, so I'm always doing trip reports, but I like throwing in, some informative tips kind of stuff too. And then
Cool.
And we've
yeah,
been spreading
if
around.
you ever want to do a show about Tokyo Disneyland, there's a lot of really interesting changes there, especially compared to Disney World and stuff.
Oh,
Yeah,
definitely.
I'd love to hear about that. That's great.
Definitely. When are you going? You said you're going soon?
Yeah, I'm going back in about 25 days.
Awesome.
Well, yeah, let's we'll stay in touch then. Why don't we do a trip report? How long are you going for?
I'm going for 7 days this trip.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, let's do a trip report for Tokyo Land. Tokyo Land.
Yeah,
And you've been there before, you said too, right?
Yeah, this will be my 4th trip. I'm in love. My wife especially, she's obsessed with Japan in general. And,
Oh yeah.
I'd love to
Do
go
you
there.
spend some time? So you just do 7 days, or you get some time outside of the parks?
Oh yeah, we explore the country and the city. It's a really fascinating place.
So you're going like what, mid-January?
Yeah.
It's about the time we'll be gone too.
All the stories, any stories, anything, all the interesting stuff that you're like, yeah, that was so cool.
Yeah.
And We'd love to have you
Really,
back.
that'd be
I'd
great.
love to have because we just had
This episode was great, so I'm looking
we just
forward to
we
it.
just covered Disneyland Paris.
Oh, cool.
Which was so fun.
We had a
I
woman.
love that.
Yeah, she was fantastic. And then we did. I've got a guy who lives right near Shanghai.
Oh, wow.
We didn't do.
He I think just recently went, so we're gonna probably do one with him. And I got someone going there actually too. He's from Australia. They're going into Shanghai. So yeah, it's kind of fun to go around the world.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are interested in hearing, the differences
Absolutely.
overseas
Oh, yeah.
parts.
Yeah, definitely. I'm definitely going to take you up on that offer.
Cool.